Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the news with Amber this week. This is her last week. Today's June 30th, and today we're doing, I immediately forgot, social and business.
We said it like 3 times, like hyping ourselves up which categories it was, and then none of us
you forget as soon as the camera turns on every time.
Yeah.
And we've got an exciting new orange soda. That is a lot of orange soda.
This is 1 liter of orange soda. This is Teddy's Orange and Cream. So this is kind of in a category by itself because there's 380 calories in this, first of all. It's basically just liquid sugar. This is not something that I would drink every day. This is actually really good over like vanilla ice cream. So you can make a vanilla orange float. And there's vanilla in it.
I think Teddy might be a Civil War soldier.
He does look I mean, you probably have to go check, but he looks vaguely Civil War or possibly prospector.
What side, though? What side of the Civil War?
I think it's the hat.
I think the hat. I think it's actually the coat. The hat doesn't do it for me. The hat says prospector. But
So do you think he was out there in California panning for gold when he discovered orange and cream?
Yeah, I was just drinking rust water. That's all it was.
Someone found him and decided he should be the face of orange cream soda.
All right, well, let's get into it. Let's find out.
This is like drinking Oreo centers. It's great.
Drinking Oreo centers.
Good description.
I love sugar too much.
We all do.
Not a lot of
Yeah,
bubbles
we're
in this
American.
one.
We'll give it a second. See how it's got like that's a retention. There you go.
Not very carbonated.
But it's got the cream. You smell the cream before you smell the orange, and that's just great. You know you're going to be in for something good when that happens. Oh my gosh, there's so much sugar. It's literally like drinking. You almost don't even taste the orange.
That was worse than the last one. The last one.
Oh, you don't like it?
Tasted very. No, I thought the last one was very good. I meant the sugar. Like I thought the last one was very sugary. And
No, this is over the top.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Well, how much sugar for the whole bottle?
380 calories.
No, sugar.
Yeah, sugar content.
93 grams.
That's a lot.
And I'm assuming it's
Gosh.
not pure cane like the last one either.
Yeah, it is 186% of your daily recommended values.
It's probably corn syrup and not actual sugar too.
Ugh.
Carbonated water, high fructose corn syrup.
There it is.
No,
Acid.
why didn't you tell me? I wouldn't have drunk it.
But it's funny because these used to actually be more sugary. Like there was even more sugar in these than that.
Oh my goodness.
It also has sucralose in it. So they've
Wow.
cut the sugar content dramatically with the more expensive sucralose, if you can imagine.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Healthy.
Crazy.
All right, well, let's give it a letter grade.
This isn't a class by itself. This is not something that I would drink regularly because I don't want to die. But it is also a little too rich. Like, I mean, if you have like 2 or 3 of these in a day, you basically like pass out. So
Well, let's see. That would be 500%?
yeah, that's a little bit of diabetic coma land.
I'm gonna give it. I probably wouldn't even drink it or eat it with the ice cream or whatever because that's even more sugar. I'd probably give it a D.
Wow.
Yeah.
I give it pretty high marks for being sugary, but it is kind of in a class by itself, and it is best with vanilla ice cream.
Well, no, but judge it as if it were
As if it were like one of the drinks.
in the containers, yes.
Probably like a B minus.
It's interesting.
I want something that's orangey. Like it's an A plus in terms of like sugar rush and a good flavor and blah blah blah. But for like
Endorphins.
but for like a regular
No, that's a good question. Do you find just high sugar without any like nuances, just like hit you in the face with sugar, is that heavy endorphins?
Okay. M&Ms. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
yeah.
M&Ms are good.
Yeah. So it's like
We haven't had any M&Ms in a while.
it's an A for endorphins, but it's probably like a B minus for everything else. It is if you're into orange cream soda, it is a very good orange cream soda.
But Amber brought up the brand that you liked.
Which one?
Orange cream soda?
You just mentioned it before.
The
Philosophy.
starts with an S.
Stewart. So is that right?
Yeah,
Stewart?
yeah.
So what letter grade? Like, how do you compare this to that? Because you said you like that.
I mean, but I do like Stewart's better than that. But I also have to say that Stewart's is not. I haven't had Stewart's cream soda in like months because of the same problem. It's just overly sweet and bleh. Like I'll drink a bottle and I'm good for like a few months. You know what I'm saying?
It is crazy they cut this with sucralose. I mean,
Yeah.
this probably was like 500 calories before. And they were like, "Oh, you want us to put that on a label? Oh, yeah, just never mind."
Yeah.
You know, I bought these cookies by accident. I didn't realize they were like keto protein cookies, which is nonsense. There's no such thing. But it was like, oh, hey, and they do that whole net carbs thing. Do you know that scam?
Yeah.
Where
No.
it's like they subtract fiber and some other things.
What it's like your total carbs minus the fiber, and then that's your
and sugar alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And you're wondering, like, what is sugar alcohol? It's called like erythritol or something like that. So I ate it, and it was very low. Like, it didn't have a lot of sugar. And I was like, wow, these cookies are great. They don't seem to taste like they have a lot of sugar. And then I was like, I read the label, erythritol. I can't remember. It starts with an E. And I went and Wikipedia'd it, and I was like, oh, look at that. Look at that long line of side effects. There's a lot of these. And about 5 hours later, it felt like I had a gas turbine engine operating at full RPM in my lower colon.
I thought is erythritol isn't it fine? I'm probably mispronouncing it. Isn't it fine though?
I'm telling you.
I thought it was better than sucralose.
I don't know. I think it's from stevia. We're getting deep in
I think they get it from monk fruit.
sugar,
Lore.
artificial stuff, but it's it doesn't count as a sugar because it is a sugar alcohol.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I thought sucralose is so artificial that it just passes through your body completely with no interaction.
I don't think anything does that.
Yeah, I think you try to get something out of everything you eat.
We need to contact a dietitian. Ask someone.
It doesn't exist because it's right-handed sugar instead of left-handed sugar. As all of our stuff is left-handed.
But also, those cookies subtracted for every gram of that stuff.
Yeah.
So they acted like it counteracted real sugar, which makes no sense.
I mean, I don't know.
It's like the Olestra of sugar.
I hear good things about it though.
You know what? You should try some Quest cookies.
If you need to get going in the morning, instead of coffee, you eat some of those cookies.
I don't think it's that it counteracts it. I think it's just that it.
That's marketing garbage, is what it is. Obviously.
Our top story this week is Windows 11 because the UFO story wasn't out when we were recording this. That's going to be next week's top stories.
Yeah, Windows 11. Now, we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks, but Microsoft had not officially said it was coming. Everybody knew it was.
Yeah.
But they have now officially told us that it's here, and we have some details about it.
It's going to be generally available by the holidays. They've got an update tool that you can download that gives you an obtuse error like your brand new computer with a 6-core processor and a 3070 can't run and doesn't tell you why. Although they are updating it to tell you why, or maybe by the time this is out, it actually does tell you why. But usually it's because it doesn't have an encryption chip. They've changed the visuals. They've put a lot of polish on it.
It's in the middle.
Yeah.
Terrible.
The taskbar's in the middle.
Chrissy, you've
You
kind
can,
of
you
already...
can change it. Yeah, we did a story about it last week.
You've kind of
You
already
can change that
commented.
setting, but
Now,
sorry. what?
some of the things that you might not like about it, the Windows Store is far more featured here. And one of the cornerstones of Windows 11 that everybody loves so much, Microsoft Teams. Full,
Ew.
I thought you were going to say Microsoft Accounts because that also features heavily.
that's a different story. So one of the good things that may be coming from this, although I can't imagine what I would use this for. Can you think of any use case that you care about?
Yeah, actually, I can. I'll explain. Microsoft announces Windows 11 is going to be able to run Android apps. Microsoft says Windows 11 can run Android apps locally. This is going to be through Amazon Store, so Microsoft is, if Google comes after them, they're also going to have to come after Amazon. That's using Amazon as a corporate shield, basically, in case there's running afoul of patents or whatever. They didn't say if this is going to be ARM emulation on Windows or native x86, because native x86 Android is a thing you can do and it's a thing and blah, blah, blah. But this is not all that surprising because Microsoft has their Hub application, which you run on your Android phone and then it forwards notifications and blah, blah, blah. Apple has got the ecosystem of like Apple phone plus Mac plus iPad and like messaging and all that stuff. They've got that really locked down to have it be a cohesive experience, and Microsoft is chasing that with all of this.
So here's TikTok, and it's just, it runs looking
Outside.
like the phone in this little container.
Yeah.
But that is actually the Android app running.
Yeah. I think really the way that they could nail this is by basically having it be like remote access to your phone. So like if you could have your Android apps running on a phone, but have it be like on the side, so you could use the touchscreen on your phone if you want to, or use the mouse or the keyboard or whatever. That might be interesting.
You never said the use case.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think having notifications and text messages and like all of the communication functionality of the phone running through a desktop when you're near a desktop would be a far less infuriating experience for using the phone, because I don't have all the messaging stuff on all devices everywhere. And then so it's like when I'm having to deal with somebody on the phone and juggle also my desktop computer or whatever, I'd like to just do all that in one place.
I guess, can you load those default apps through the Amazon store, like messaging and all that stuff?
Probably.
I don't know if you can.
Well, the Windows Hub app already takes care of forwarding text messages and stuff like that. So if you use that, you're already halfway there.
Well, that seems like it's even more useless then, based on that.
Well, yeah. It depends on what apps you got.
And this, some of you might be saying to yourselves, they already do this. Now, in the current version, if you just simply unplug all the network connections and wait,
It's like, all right.
it will eventually give up. We do not know yet if that will be true of the next version, but we do know they will be continuing to do the same awful thing.
Windows 11 Home will require a Microsoft account and an internet connection at setup. I've noticed the Windows Store apps are like, hey, you should sign in to download this. And I'm just like, no. And it's like, all right, I'll download it anyway. But it doesn't do that with every app. Some apps, it's like, no, you really have to sign in. It's like, no, I'm really not going to. It's like, well, I can give you the app. It's like, all right, fine. I'll go install it from the command line.
That Xbox subscription for the games, you know, like you'll install a game normally and it's like, oh, this is the Win 10 version. I'm like, well, what's the difference between the Win 10 version and the other
It's worse.
one? Well, it pops up and it's like,
That's the difference.
do you want to allow, you know, whoever THQ to access your Microsoft account? Of course I don't. And then you
No.
click no, and it closes the game.
Yeah. Oh, we encountered that trying to benchmark Gears of War. Gears of War's got really amazing variable rate shading. And it was just so onerous to deal with the account starting it up. It was just like, I can't, this is just, come on, this is stupid. It makes it's so hard for me to automate this.
Wait, are you telling me that it's not going to be like sign in later like you can do right now? It's just going to make you
Yeah.
like right at the front?
Or
Yeah.
close.
There's going to be a lot of that probably.
That's lame.
Yeah.
And when a company has that level of control over everything that you do in their ecosystem, the last thing they want to do is give it up. And they will take some real mental gymnastics to try and explain to you why it's better for you if they do that.
Apple says third-party app stores would open iPhones to scammers. They've obviously not really gone too deep in the existing Apple App Store because, oh boy, there's a lot of scammy apps on the App Store.
They say no. That's only Android. It's only the Wild West.
I'll admit it's much worse on Android, but my God.
So yeah, this is the old Epic lawsuit, more stuff. You know, people's like, oh, you got to open all this up. And they're just like, no, that would be terrible for our customers. They don't want that. And AMD, maybe some good news for those of us who are still using some old legacy video cards because, you know, chip shortage. AMD has some new technology and it goes pretty far back into some of the older devices, which is nice.
AMD FidelityFX Super Resolution tested of pixels and performance. We also tested FidelityFX. It's really
We
awesome.
did.
So FSR performance mode and native mode and balanced and, you know, all kinds of stuff. Basically, it's just fancy technologies for rendering less pixels, but then upscaling the pixels that you've got and making an image that approximates like as if it would have rendered at full resolution. So it's like you get a generational bump on your GPU without really a lot of visual degradation.
Yeah, so I edited the video, so I basically know all about it because I listened to your masterclass about it. And it's unique because it puts it in the GPU's like render pipeline. That's unique, right?
No, well, I mean, it's kind of unique in that they can shove more stuff in the render pipeline later, which is really cool because this is kind of a 1.0 technology. It's nowhere near as bad as DLSS 1.0 was, so there's that. But, you know, there's more, right now more games have DLSS 2.0, and, you know, there is an argument to be made. It's like, well, DLSS 2.0 might be a little bit better, but this runs on everything, which is probably better long-term. And it also runs on consoles. That Microsoft event from Windows 11.
And it's open source.
They did a developer thing, and they were like, oh, by the way, consoles are going to run this now, too. It's like,
But the game does have to be optimized for it. So
Yes.
you can't, it's not like it's just going to work with your entire library. They have to go back and add support for it.
But it's trivial to do. Apparently, like Dota 2, they added that like the day or two after the press release, which is like, couldn't you just waited? And then, what was it? CSGO. They dropped it for CSGO as well.
Wow.
It didn't take any time. So
They're still updating CS:GO.
I make a lot of money on CSGO.
Yeah.
Business. Those the weapon skins. Yeah.
They said that Far Cry 6 was going to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say a lot of games will have it going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah, new
Why
games.
wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Well, Amazon has won against. I would call them a patent troll, right?
Definitely a patent troll.
They did have a patent, but it was a little older and probably not about this specific thing. Because here's the caveat: this had not been invented yet.
Amazon wins trial over technology to order groceries with Alexa. So this originally the patent was a camera on the side of a fridge. I had a barcode scanner on the side of my fridge in college, which probably would qualify as some kind of prior art for this as well. But ultimately, the trial was like
They had that as well.
yeah, it's like this is not we can't. Well, the patent is way after when I had that in college.
A lot of people had that.
Okay, well, whatever. But they did the patent thing, and it was like, no, this doesn't. You can't claim prior art for this because they kept amending their patent application after the fact when products would enter the market, and so they would say, oh yeah, this thing that Alexa is doing is what we were talking about 20 years ago, and it's like, well, that's not the same at all.
So Amazon won.
Yeah.
Good job, Amazon lawyers. I don't even feel bad about them winning a court case for once. But do you feel bad about this? Now, I do understand, like, if you're somebody who makes a product, a high-end product, this is maybe a necessary evil. But God, it's hard to like defend it, especially in the shortages that we're living in right now.
Amazon labels millions of unsold products for destruction, a new investigation finds. Amazon was immediately responding to this, and they said, no, that was not a landfill, that was a recycling center. And we also are going to donate a ton of products and that kind of thing. So some suppliers, they say, don't want their products back when Amazon doesn't want them in their warehouse anymore. So it's just like, all right, destroy them.
I remember probably in the 90s, I guess, our local Walmarts had this big thing where they were destroying clothing.
Oh, yeah, that was a big scandal.
And people were like, how are you just destroying this clothing? We have people who are cold. We have people who need this. And they explained they had a terrible problem with people emptying the dumpster, driving to the next town, and returning all the clothes to the other Walmart. And that worked. So they had to do something about it.
Yeah.
Couldn't just, requiring a receipt do 90% of that?
I think
Instead of destroying the clothing.
I think they figured out a way to, like, they would steal it from the dumpster, figure out what it was, buy a copy of it, then use that receipt to return it, and then sell the copy. Like, they worked hard at it.
What an incredible level of fraud.
And
What an incredible level of waste.
And an amazing amount of time to spend on something that probably didn't net that much money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, no actual, well, I guess it did take effort.
I feel
Yeah,
like
it took a
that's
lot
the
of effort.
overarching thing, the amount of effort you had to put into that versus what you got.
Well, what you got was meth.
In that part of the country, ripping off the man, that you can get a lot of energy out of that. It might be like net positive
That's
energy.
probably true. Plus, you're at Walmart. You go over to they used to have the little cafes in there. You get yourself a soft pretzel. Make a day out of it. It's more fun than sitting at home, right?
Yeah.
We had Amazon Prime Day. Wendell, you weren't here. Did you make any Prime Day purchases?
I
We were
did
talking
not.
about this earlier. I bought a
I didn't
TV
either.
for my parents.
Oh,
I didn't either.
Yeah, but I don't feel like it was a big event this year. Did you?
Groceries? I got groceries that it just happened to be that day.
Did you get a Prime deal on it? But a lot of people did use it. Obviously, the sales go way up on that day. And then in the following week, which is what we're living in right now, guess who gets to suffer?
Amazon tells drivers endorphins are your friend at Amazon Prime Day. Oh, that's a little... Come on, Amazon.
They don't tell the drivers that. They tell their industrial athletes that.
So if you're an Amazon driver,
Industrial athletes.
you got this lovely little card as you started your day.
Thank you. Don't forget you're on the clock.
And it's basically telling you to work harder, you stupid pleb.
Don't skip breakfast.
The best one on
Stay
here...
hydrated.
Yeah, stay hydrated is the best one because obviously the joke is peeing in a bottle.
Teddy's is not going to help you stay hydrated.
But even if you're
No.
drinking good old water, you still have to eliminate a large portion of it.
Well,
And,
if you have to pee, you didn't sweat hard enough, and therefore you're not working hard enough.
You got to sweat so hard that your bladder starts to release fluids back into the system.
I've been told that can happen when your body's in extreme duress, but I don't think that's true.
Well, there's that survival guy.
Oh,
He
yeah.
took a more roundabout. And this is probably some of the worst news. You know what? Bezos was sitting back looking at, like, just watching his counter tick up
There's a
on Prime
blinking
Day.
LED just for this.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm thinking it's like a 7-segment numeric display. Well, it'd be more than 7, wouldn't it? And he's just watching his riches go up, and then the alarm goes off for this. He's stroking his long-haired cat, and he just grips its fur. Like, no.
That's
His
crying.
Himalayan Persian.
Teamsters aim to step up efforts to unionize Amazon workers. Not content with the failed unionization bid in Alabama, they are expanding their efforts.
Now, in Alabama, if you'll remember, the Alabama team, they were like, our tactic here, we're not going to fight Amazon on a national level. We're just fighting them in this one town in Alabama, and we think we can win. They didn't even get close. It was like 70%, right?
Yeah.
And so the Teamsters are saying, all right, we're not taking that approach. We're going full court press all over the country all at once.
It wasn't in the Como News article, but I meant to add a link to the other article. There was another article that was talking about this. They actually obtained a memo from Amazon that said that the rate at which they're going through the warehouse workers and the delivery workers, there may not be enough people to employ to do those jobs because there's a finite number of people that are looking for those kinds of jobs.
What about, are they assuming that they never get a rehire?
They're assuming that the rehire rate is low,
Constant?
or that the reason that they were fired is because they just can't do the job.
Well, that's the big thing right now, right? I mean, I'm seeing news headline after news headline of apparently people just don't want to work anymore. I don't know if that's propaganda. I don't know what they're trying to do if that is propaganda, but
I think they're trying to just force people back to work. They're like, stop doing this. Go back to work for your pennies and be happy, pleb.
Did you see that California is forgiving rent for a bunch of people? I feel bad for the people that depleted their savings.
for everybody, right?
If you're behind on your rent or you need forgiveness, they'll give it to you. Which, that seems good from a humanitarian standpoint, but I feel really bad for the people that depleted their life savings in order to not be in that situation.
How about from a tax standpoint?
Well, they had a surplus. California had an insane surplus in tax income this year, so that's what they're using it for.
But yeah, I'm sure there's no
They
better
couldn't-
place to put that.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, like, what about, upgrading their electrical infrastructure or firefighting crews
More
or
desalination
Oh, no.
plants, because we're going to need that's foreshadowing.
That ain't going to get you any
Oh,
votes,
no.
Krista. This is directly translating into votes. You're buying votes. That's what they're doing. And it's going to work absolutely well.
I think people want places that aren't on fire too, though.
Oh,
I mean,
And the
goats.
goats.
Yeah. The goats. That's what they should do. They should forgive your rent and give you a goat.
This is your responsibility. If the goat
We're
ever
really
dies,
going back to
you got
feudalism.
to pay back your rent.
That's the
Give you a
difference
goat.
between I don't know what year that was, but 50 years ago it was 40 acres and a mule. Now it's a quarter acre and a goat.
Yeah.
Would you be happy with a goat, Ryan?
What do you mean by that? Happiness? Matrimony?
Like- Do you want one? Go.
Yeah.
Particularly.
I think it would be a lot if they were like, here's your cabin, here's your 5 acres, here's your goat, and Amazon Prime delivers there. It'd be fine.
Goats are
And Amazon Prime delivers.
goats are a very salty animal. Like they don't tolerate your crap.
Yeah.
No,
Hard
they're
to be
kind of
friends
mean.
with a goat.
We used the goats to keep the hillside in check growing up. They were, I had a lot of bruises.
They also climb trees.
Yeah.
They'll
climb
eat anything.
That's their value. Little garbage disposals. But what you don't want to feed your goat. Now, I'm not a veterinarian, but I'm willing to say this. Do not feed your goat Uber Eats.
Definitely.
That's going to be bad for it. They'll eat it.
It's probably not even really human food.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't be feeding your kids that either. But once in a while, we all like a good fast food meal delivered to our doorstep. But what you might not realize is when you're ordering from Uber Eats, they might play with the numbers a bit.
Uber Eats adds a pricing disclaimer that has been requested by the attorneys general. So the attorney generals of some states were looking at this and saying, hey, this is kind of misleading because it makes it seem like the restaurant is charging this money, but you're actually charging this money. And they're like, okay, we'll add a pricing disclaimer that no one will read.
But only in those 2 states. Not anywhere else, although it's true everywhere.
Yeah.
They do mark those up. There is apparently, for a while there, I was looking at the Instacart subreddit because I was curious about like that whole world. And there's a lot of discussion there about how to tactfully refuse the receipt to the customer, because the receipt will let them prove that they're overcharging. And Instacart does not tolerate that. Yeah. Peloton, we talked about earlier, they have had some troubles. They have decided to patch a security bug by sending out an over-the-air patch. I don't think you can opt out of it, but it adds a very interesting requirement to your treadmill.
Peloton Treadmill Safety Update requires a $40 a month subscription. We talked about this in the government section. I got ahead of myself. But yeah, this is following the death of a toddler. So if you want to just, turn it on and use it as a treadmill, ain't happening. Now, I could be a crazy person, but don't treadmills have like the little strap that you put on your wrist and it won't come on if the little thing is in there? Why do they not have that? Isn't that required by law, basically, as a safety device?
I don't know if it's required by law or not.
You put the thing on your wrist, and then you're running, and then when you pull out if something happens, it pulls out the red thing and it stops.
But you don't have to use it.
Well, you can just leave the red thing in all the time.
Right.
Yeah. That would be the parents' fault then if something bad happens.
Oh, no. Never
This
the
is
parents' fault.
this is just a way so they can turn on. This is probably built in when they first developed it, where like this is eventually going to be a subscription, and they're just using this as an excuse.
No, you're absolutely right, Krista. But the way it worked before is that all the programs and the live stuff and all of that was the subscription, and there was a feature called Just Run.
Yeah.
Which is it's like just be a treadmill, and with this update, that has been removed without the subscription.
Oh,
so basically, the
surprising no
treadmill
one.
just will not operate.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you pay so much money for that, you would. I mean, what's wrong with it just working?
They don't get
Because
$40
everything
month.
is a subscription now.
It might shrink another toddler.
Yeah. Oh well. If you don't know what happened, so if you take a look at the Peloton here, it's very artsy, and this thing actually can lift up, and that part down there is it just loves to kill children and puppies. Like it can't wait to suck one under there and skin it, basically. And one kid died, so they had to do something.
You'll own nothing and like it.
But the decision they made was the most money grabbing decision they could have.
Never let a crisis go to waste.
The 40-cent red tab, the red safety tab, would have solved all of these problems.
Yeah.
Which existing treadmills have.
No, it wouldn't, because if I'm running on the treadmill and an infant is under it and the tab is connected to me, But the press release was like, be sure that the immediate area is clear before using your Peloton. All the other companies defeat that by adding a piece of plastic. It's so simple.
True.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, there has to be a better way than a subscription every month.
So they can justify the subscription that they've always wanted.
Well, they have to pay for that guy in India that's watching the treadmill.
On the camera.
Watching you huff and puff on the treadmill.
Taking screenshots, posting them to subreddits. He's multitasking.
I'm really amazed with Bill's transformation. Look, just 2 hours a day. He's a whole different person.
They're making marketing materials without your permission. In Europe, at least, and hopefully soon to follow in the rest of the world, there is perhaps a little bit of light at the end of this awful shortage tunnel.
Following Europe, GPU pricing suggests the shortage is easing. Could also be something to do with those shipping containers coming in from China, because China's shutting down the mining operations literally everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody, I think this was on one of the crypto subreddits, came up with a chart, made a spreadsheet, and they looked at price per hash rate versus how the price is falling. And what they've discovered is lower tier cards are still your best value in terms of falling prices. Like a 3090 has not fallen very much at all, but we seem to be trending in that direction.
Nice.
So If you just look at this chart, obviously what's going on in this chart, right? Yeah. I love guys who get real nerdy with stuff like that for no reason. Google, they're still doing their flock thing. At least they're trying to, but nobody else wants to be a part of it. And they keep saying, it's like, guys, we're really going to do it. We really are.
We're serious
really,
this time.
No, really, we're going to do it. And everybody's like, you better not. And they're like, all right, we won't.
Google delays blocking third-party cookies in Chrome until 2023. Remember the flock thing? A lot of people don't want to be part of the flock, so...
And the big problem is this European agency that was like, we're not even sure that's legal. The CMA, Competition and Markets Authority in the UK. Oh, they're not European, I'm sorry. And they've said, we're not sure yet. So Google's announcement is like, well, we want to do this, but they might not let us.
So even after all they're pushing, they might not be able to legally do it anyway.
At least not in the UK.
Huh.
Yeah.
NFTs are still kind of hot. We actually sold our NFT for $80. Now, I had to spend 10 to mint it. I lost another 25 with bad copy and paste. And we're going to split it with the guy that created it. So I think we just barely managed not to lose money.
Nice.
But I suspect this will go for quite a bit more.
Yeah. Tim Berners-Lee defends auction of NFT representing the web's source code. He literally just created a picture of the source code. And that's it. That's all. That's all it is. It's not even the copyright of the source code.
We're paywalled. He had already done the art for a poster.
Yeah.
So he took, and I think it was one of those where the text was shaped like something. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I have a Linux poster like that.
it is a piece of art. You could certainly argue that it is a piece of art.
Yeah.
And that's what NFTs are supposed to be.
Yeah.
What do you think he'll get?
Probably about 100,000.
Maybe.
NFTs are kind of cooling off.
We mentioned in previous weeks, I think it was 2 weeks ago, that Facebook was taking the awful step of putting ads in your VR games.
Who's going to go first? And then everybody take a step forward and then everybody step back.
Well, they had already chosen who was going to go first, and I imagine they had given them a pretty good sweetheart deal. It's like, you're going to be the first VR ad. Here's a pile of money. And they're like, yeah, we'll take that. And then the press release happened.
Facebook's first Oculus ad partner is already retreating, but one way or another, Facebook will get its ads.
Now, what they've done, they've faced a lot of backlash, a lot of people, because, and here, this is, I mean, this is really bad. These people had already purchased the game,
Yeah.
and they paid money for it.
Right.
So they were changing it after the fact. Now, EA and Activision have done that how many times?
Yeah.
But this is a small company. They got a lot of blowback. So what they've done, they haven't abandoned Facebook. But they've decided to move the VR trial to a free game that's ad-supported.
That's better.
I mean, it is better. But that's like saying being stabbed is better than being shot.
Yeah. Sure, you're more likely to survive, but at what cost?
Yeah, yeah.
We're going to have to get another VR headset and give it a spin.
I did enjoy VR.
Yeah, it's like, let's see how bad this is.
It makes me so nauseous. I can never.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I get so nauseous.
What devices have you tried?
The Oculus Rift.
Okay.
What game were you playing? Because I found that made a difference as well. Like, I couldn't play The Forest in VR.
It was just like super hot. I got
No,
nauseous.
Really?
Superhot has locomotion in the game. A lot of games try to avoid that.
Yeah.
Like Beat Saber was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Beat Saber is one of the ones where I didn't get, and I will hurl.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of search results, now, Krista, you're a big DuckDuckGo advocate, but I revealed to you last week that's just Bing.
I know. And then I was like, oh,
That's just microwaved Bing,
it's just
Krista.
painful.
That's what you're using. But maybe we now have a real second choice. Or
I've heard of this. I've heard of this.
Google gets a new rival as Brave Search opens to the public. About 32 million people now use Brave's ad blocking browser each month. I'm honestly surprised that Brave isn't doing some kind of like distributed search engine or something like that to allow. It's like, hey, can Brave use a portion of your bandwidth and resources in the background to crawl the internet and send that data, process it a little bit and send that data somewhere?
And they are doing their very own index. Every other index is mostly just reselling. They're either taking Googles or Bings, and they're selling it to you. Yahoo, DuckDuckGo, all those, but not Brave. They're doing their own thing.
Except for images.
Images, yeah. They couldn't figure images out. So that's Microsoft.
I mean, I've actually used it before, and it feels a lot like Chrome. Like, they looked at Chrome and was like, yeah, we want this.
You're talking about the browser.
Yeah.
This is a search engine.
Oh, just a search engine.
Yeah, just for
Sorry.
search. Yeah, yeah.
Same company, though. And the same idea of, like, we're not going to spy on you when you're using this.
I feel like our next story should be Exhibit A in our new FCC Chair Rosenworcel's salvo to just go nuclear on the whole anti-competitive monopoly, local monopoly thing that we have for cable franchises.
You think a lot of people are tagging her on Twitter with this story?
You know what to do.
Oh, you know what? They don't promise anything, obviously, but maybe 3 to 6 months is my fiber build out.
Oh,
I'm
You're getting
so
close.
excited.
Yeah, I told you.
My little cell is yellow.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it to be blue. But I'm super excited about that because the great thing about gigabit fiber is you get a gigabit of upload. And compared to the tiny, meager amount that they give you now, it's like the ultimate freedom. But weirdly enough, some ISPs, they were offering quite a bit of upload, relatively, and they admitted themselves it didn't cause any disruption in the network, even during the
We
pandemic.
just want to make more money.
Yeah, when all the data went up during the pandemic, and they were like, no, our network is fine.
Yeah.
And yet,
Altice is reducing cable internet upload speeds by up to 86% next month. Altice cuts uploads from 35 megabit to 5 megabit to bring them, quote unquote, in line with other ISPs.
wouldn't you want your company to be better?
No.
I mean, what business?
Well, they're not competing with anybody. Why?
That's true.
yeah. Monopoly.
So they have a gigabit plan for whatever it is. Now your upload on your gigabit plan went from like 50 megabit to like 15.
They had really generous. That's hard to read, but
940 megabit, 1 gig, and
from 35 to 5. So the 940 went from 50 to 35. So what you were getting by default is now the highest tier plan.
yeah.
It's disgusting.
Again, Exhibit A and destroy all ISPs. Make it claw back the federal money. This probably should have been in security, but I thought it was more on business.
We are in business.
No, I mean, I put it in business, but it probably maybe should have been in security.
Security,
It could go
yeah.
to either one because it's an old product that's not supported anymore.
I think it's more business.
Yeah, okay.
Because if you're thinking about how should I react to this, your reaction should be a business reaction in that you never do business with Western Digital ever again in your life.
I'm totally screwed. WD MyBook Live users wake up to find their data deleted. Storage Maker advises customers to unplug their MyBook Lives from the internet ASAP. So this is an old product. This is a product that's not supported anymore. Not really. The last update they had was in 2015.
But we should point out it's certainly a product that you would expect to run autonomously for years and years and years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we don't know what the issue is. This could just be something weird.
Well, they have a pretty good idea here.
That is horrifying.
Yeah, it's like, oh, look at that. Network strip start. Oh, it's getting some PHP web stuff. Oh, some stuff's happening. Yeah, a lot of people, for some reason, think putting their NAS just directly on the internet is fine. And it can be okay if you take steps, but most people have no idea what they don't know, and it ends very badly on a long enough time
Yeah,
scale.
but when you got that 5 megabits of upload, what are you really going to use that for on the internet?
Somebody was trying to prep those for Chia mining.
So yeah, that's disgusting. And if you have one of those, run and just rip the cords out of it right now.
Just rip it.
Because it's probably already too late. And they've admitted, Western Digital's like, yeah, we're not getting any of that back. It's gone.
Yeah.
One person said,
Wow.
I had a decade of data and my life is ruined. It's like, you didn't even think about backing that up?
Should have been back in the
Yeah.
Who has a decade of data and doesn't back it up?
Well, these are old devices. Some people, some of them, you can run those in like a mirror configuration. Again, RAID's not a backup, but you can at least with those devices, it's pretty cool because you could guard against mechanical failure at least, not malicious intent.
Right.
And I don't think it's one attack. I think it's just the exploit was released, and just randos are attacking you. Because one person said everything was deleted, and another person said that they got encrypted.
Huh. One of the people that was deleted, the directory structure was there, but all the files were gone.
Interesting. Well, I don't. This is moving on to social media. Do you have an idea of like how popular Clubhouse is? I feel like it was really popular at first, and then just sort of fell off a cliff.
I have no clue what that is.
So, listen to this. It's a crazy concept. It's an app that you can install on your phone, and then you can use voice on your phone,
like Discord,
or just the phone.
Like
just the phone.
But what is Clubhouse? What even?
I just told you, you can use your phone to talk to other people.
I was thinking
people,
like
though.
maybe this is a young person thing, but Amber is a young person and she doesn't know what it is, so clearly it's not popular with any age group.
I don't know. I might just be out of touch.
It's a party line. Are you old enough to understand what a party line is?
Yes.
It's a party line of an app on your phone.
Oh, okay.
But Facebook has made their version, and they have one huge feature that's better than Clubhouse.
Facebook's Clubhouse competitor starts rolling out in the U.S. today. And are you talking about the fact that it integrates with everything Facebook? Because
No.
that's not.
Bigger groups. You can have an infinite sized. I'm sure there's a theoretical limit, but you can add as many people as you want to your Clubhouse.
What is the competitor? It just says the competitor. Like what is?
Clubhouse is the competitor. Facebook's is called something else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Live audio rooms.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what a great name.
Yeah, really rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
App that does things.
So you got that to look forward to. I thought that was kind of a cool idea when it first came out, but then after looking at it, I was like, nah, that's probably not for us. Also, I find that we've been doing this for several years, and we've gotten much better at it. We still talk all over each other.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that in that setting?
I mean, in Discord, like in some of the patron events and some of the other events where we, just having a small group of like 20 people, it ends up being all of that and crazy. I can't imagine. It's non-functional when you get much beyond 3 or 4 people.
Well, especially if you can't like see the other person, you have no sense of if they're gonna start talking to where you can say, "Oh, I need to like not speak."
But the delay over the team speaking stuff, it makes it impossible even if you can't see them.
Snapchat is the worst.
And Chris is 100 milliseconds behind us, and it's just bad.
Not wrong.
Now this one, I have to admit, when I saw the headline, I thought this is another MyPillow type of deal. But it seems like this guy might have a decent idea here.
Yeah.
In that he's saying, hey, we don't need another company. We need a standard protocol.
Yep.
Makes a lot of sense.
Real Estate Mogul has a $100 million plan to save the internet. It's Project Liberty centers on the construction of a publicly accessible database of people's social connections, allowing users to move records of their relationships between social media services instead of being locked into a few dominant apps. Instead of having this be a database, I would just go with a file format, and then that way you could cherry pick what's there and what's not. But
I think that's what they're doing, right? Because it's going to be like, it's just going to be another internet protocol.
Yeah, and Jack Dorsey's in on it. Because Twitter, that's what Jack Dorsey keeps saying. He's like, somebody come up with a decentralized Twitter and we'll be the first customer.
So instead of on Facebook, like you being involved with your Facebook friends, you're just involved with your friends. And your friends have this protocol, and then if you go to a new social media, you just import your friends.
Do you think we'll ever see an internet, like Internet 4.0, that's powered by some kind of crypto or currency or something, and like your browser doing some compute generates tokens that make it to where other computers will give you the web page or the data that you're looking for?
Not without John McAfee.
Oh, rip in peace.
He was our last hope.
Not without John McAfee.
We will never see his like again.
I mean, that would be amazing if the whole internet ran on blockchain, but like the practical thing of that is that's like the dumbest thing I've ever said.
Yeah, but then how do you decentralize that, and what happens when somebody pulls down the most of it from China?
Yeah.
Amber, pronounce this country.
What? Where?
Pronounce the name of the country.
You do the headline.
Oh, why are you making me do this? You make me look like a fool.
No, we always get it wrong.
Because we don't know.
Facebook tried to ban Myanmar's military.
See, I don't know if it's Myanmar or Myanmar or Myanmar.
I think
I think
I've heard
it-
Myanmar.
Myanmar, I think, actually. Myanmar's military. But its own algorithm kept promoting pages supporting them, report says.
Yeah. So,
Now, if you didn't know, Myanmar, whatever it is, they had a little bit of a coup.
and that's still happening.
Yeah, the military is still in power, and the world does not support them.
It's weird we talk about that more than Hong Kong.
Rip Hong Kong.
That wasn't a coup. Oh no, that was crushing a coup. Those were they were dissenting. They had to be controlled, obviously. But these guys are using social media. They are trying to do some hearts and minds campaigns. And Facebook, for example, doesn't want them to. Facebook's not on their side, but the algorithm is kind of got a mind of its own.
People always want to know what's going on. It's like, is my family still there?
Fatwa.
Yeah,
This isn't terrible.
fatwa. I don't actually know where the emphasis goes on that word. But now a fatwa is different than a what's the other word for the holy war that
Jihad.
you declare? Jihad. Yeah, I don't understand the difference.
There
Do you?
goes the monetization.
Yeah, that's gone.
Do you understand the difference?
I do not know the difference.
Yeah.
Well, this is just this is like banning bad behavior, which
But-
this is not unreasonable.
But this is just one guy calling for this. But
Yeah.
he does have a lot of followers.
So, a Bangladeshi Muslim cleric issues that thing prohibiting Facebook haha emoji. And he said haha is fine if you're just laughing at somebody. I mean, with somebody. But if you're laughing at somebody, it's not okay.
Yeah, that seems reasonable because like
no.
you don't want to be a jerk to someone.
If I post, like, I just ate 5 McDonald's value meals, and I post that on Twitter, and you posted and you were like, oh my God, I love those, laughing face. And then Wendell posted, you're disgusting, and I'm laughing at you, laughing face. His would be violating, yours would not.
Oh, okay.
It's intent.
I was confused because I thought it was like all emoji haha uses.
It's
No,
a lot
no.
of words to say be nice to each other.
Yeah, okay, I see.
Yeah, the headline is kind of bait, but the actual context kind of clarifies it.
I see.
Guess what the number one response to that post was?
That.
Derisive laughing emoji.
Oh,
No. Were they able to like combat that and like
It's not actually illegal. This guy, he doesn't have any actual power, political power, I don't think. But he's just saying that, Allah is saying to do this. So
Yeah,
that
this
you should follow this.
this is like the equivalent of like a pastor being like, "Don't make fun of each other."
Yeah.
Oh,
the guy's
because
name
there's-
was Amadullah.
He has one name, like Cher.
Amadullah Amblagada.
Oh, that's fun to say.
It is.
It's really fun to say.
Someone's gonna say Wendell said it wrong, but
Someone should name their child that.
That's really fun.
All right, what do we got lined up for Friday? I've got the last third of this thing is ready to go.
Friday is the classic robot nonsense.
yeah, that's
Not-
my favorite section.
Not
Oh,
robot nonsense, robot, nonsense.
Well, we'll see you Friday. And man, it's really driving us insane that we can't tell you all about those UFO stories from last Friday. Oh,
Oh, so good.
I can't
not released
contribute anything to the news with like my knowledge of things, but I can at least like vast in like the ridiculousness of those stories themselves.
nonsense is a lot of fun that everybody can enjoy.
Yeah, everyone loves nonsense.
I'll excel in Friday's news.
Oh,
Those are feel-good stories.
somebody's confident.
We have to feel good because what else
I
is
don't
there?
feel great. Krista.
Should I do a bye?
Oh,
Bye.
dueling buys?
Bye.
Oh yeah, harmonization. That's
Oh.
what a note end on.